Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
So, please introduce yourself.
Sir, myself Kashinath Pashetti. I am from Sangareddy district in Telangana state. I did my BTech graduation from IIT Roorkee, after which I worked in IT industry for 1.5 years as a software developer. And after which I picked my job to prepare for UPSC Civil Service examination. So currently I was preparing for exam as well as mentoring students at Vision IAS Institute.
Okay, Kashinath. I know you are in a hurry, but we are not in a hurry.
Yes, sir.
So speak slightly slower.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
So that your message goes across.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's one. And you have an excellent smile, use it.
Thanks.
And when you reply, 60% of the time look at the person who has asked the question, 40% of the time look at others around.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that you connect with everybody.
Yes, sir.
Because everybody will give you the score.
Yes, sir.
And you can even use your hands a little bit if you want.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so very good. So what are your hobbies you said? You didn't tell.
Sir, one hobby is running, and I
Okay.
also follow Indian politics and also a little bit of interest about also follow US and UK politics as an interest.
Slowly, slowly.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Tell your hobbies again.
Sir, my hobby is running, and
Okay.
my interest is following politics. Usually I follow Indian, and sometimes I also follow US and UK politics a little bit, not in
Okay,
detail.
okay. So you love to follow politics. And in bureaucracy, if you love to do politics, then you are very, very popular. So will it extend to doing politics also, or you will only follow politics?
Sir, my interest is more of academic in nature. Know more about politics, study them, just passionate to know. It's a
Okay.
curiosity type. So never thought of jumping into the field directly.
Okay, let's imagine there's a bureaucrat, SDM or a DM, or even a secretary who starts following the politician. Whatever the politician says, he follows it. So do you think we'll call him a good bureaucrat or not?
Sir, if it depends upon the situation and on what issue. And as far my individual opinion is concerned, sir, you can differ with even a politician based on issues. It's not about personality. So that is what bureaucracy is more about. If one must be policy neutral, one must be able to analyze a policy. Both is
Should we be policy neutral or polity neutral?
thanks for correcting me. It is polity neutral, but not policy neutral. So
Yeah.
we should be honest in giving opinion about any policy. So based on policy, we can disagree. But so even a politician doesn't expect a bureaucrat to be completely following them. The bureaucracy is more about providing honest and transparent views about any policy.
So let's say your minister tells you that if you take this stand, I am sure the CM will transfer you. Okay, now you tell me whether you will take that stand or not. You think that stand is right.
Sir, I weigh on the situation. For example, if it is it's a matter of policy, then if the government has different perception from my own, so definitely government is elected. So it is more accountable to people rather than a bureaucrat. So bureaucracy is to evaluate a policy and provide the suggestion to the politician. So if the government feels that other person is able to better execute a plan, then definitely there is no wrong in transferring me, and I'll definitely accept it.
So what will you do? What will you do about your opinion? Will you keep it to yourself or you will bring it down on the paper?
Sir, if it is a matter of implementing the policy, then I have to put it on the paper. And before that, if the politician transfers to the bureaucrat, then I'll keep it to myself.
I'll give you a typical example. Let's say there is some person in jail and he is to be given furlough. That committee is headed by the district magistrate. Okay, they look at all the prisoners look at their record, past record, peaceful fellow, nice and good,
Yes, sir.
then they give them furlough
Yes, sir.
or they refuse. So your politician is telling you that this fellow, you must give him furlough.
Okay.
And this is the 5th furlough is taking in this year. Now, will you recommend his case or you will not recommend his case? You know what's furlough?
Yes, sir. This is temporary parole.
Yeah.
Sir, could you repeat the facts of the case one more time?
Yeah. There's a particular prisoner whom the politicians want him out. It's election time, they want him out.
Okay.
Okay? They're telling you to give a favorable report so that he gets furlough.
Okay.
So will you recommend his case or not?
Sir, definitely succumbing to the any politician or minister without proper evidence and facts, and that is not acceptable. And above all, we must uphold rule of law as well as constitutional spirit. So definitely, I cannot recommend. I can only provide an objective assessment, which is free from any kind of influence. So that I will be sure, and based on that, so that is the report I will be providing to the as a part of the committee, sir. So
your minister has told you, if you don't give him furlough, I'll have you transferred from here. So now what are you going to do? It's real life. It happens like that.
Sir, it's a difficult scenario, but still, if I give a favorable report based on the circumstances, then that may affect my career even in the long run. And but still, I would be going more with the objective assessment rather than giving any favorable report. But I am even willing and prepared to accept the transfer also.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Sir, in context of Bangladesh, the principal opposition party, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, it didn't even contested the elections, and the ruling Sheikh Hasina's party, it has favorable views in terms of development and other work it has done, but there is also accusations that it is harassing political opponents and jail majority of the leaders. So definitely, and many reports, UN reports and many Western countries, they raised issues about conducting a free and fair elections in Bangladesh. So definitely, when one party is completely out of the race, then so definitely. Sir, even with the election result, I think nearly, I'm not exactly sure about the figure. I think 250 out of the 290 candidates vote from Bangladesh, main ruling party, Sheikh Hasina. So definitely, so even if they have an anti-incumbency, the number would have been much reduced, much lower. So I don't think the election was more of free and fair. So some kind of.
You think so?
Yes, sir. It's my individual opinion. And when it comes to Pakistan, so there. Even in elections, it is known that the military determines the outcome of any election. But in this scenario, where major independent candidates have won majorly, who are supported by PTI party. Sir, even Pakistan also, the elections cannot be called as a free and fair, because one main sir, EVMs cannot be tampered, sir. The reason is they cannot be connected to any internet to be hacked. And second, the source code in EVM, it is built for only one time. Even if one tries to tamper with the EVM, it will Sir, even in context of this tampering allegation, Election Commission had come up with a challenge that even conducting before any election, there are 3 levels of checks for EVMs. Even for VVPAT voting, thank you, sir. Sir, when it comes to US politics, I think foreign policy played lesser role in context of India in determining who is good for India. Even during Trump's presidency, there were some favorable outcomes towards India. Even if Biden wins or Trump wins, both of them are going to have a favorable outcome towards, will be favorable towards India only, because India is one of the major emerging market in the world. It is one of the major emerging power, and we have many interlinkages in terms of Quad Group and Quad Group Malabar exercise. So maybe there are some disagreements over immigration policies with respect to Republicans and Democrats in terms of granting H-1B visas, etc. But rather than that, I don't think there will be a big shift between Trump and Biden's foreign policy towards India. Sir, as far as President Trump's comments were concerned, they are little bit unpredictable comments only. For example, even in context of NATO, he made a comment that if one is not paying the due shares to NATO, then US is not guaranteed its security, and even Russia can attack. So there is certain amount of truth in predicting, like it is difficult to predict Trump policy. For example, at the same time, even during his presidency, he praised India during his campaign time. At the same time, when it came to when he was a president, he also criticized India as a burger king of taxing import restrictions, as well as due to, as well as in context of unfavorable trade outcomes towards. He accused India also. So there are certain issues that must be rectified. Sir, in my individual opinion, sir, if a person who is holding such a powerful position as a US President, if it is more predictable, if he is more issue specific, and if he has a coherent views about any issue, then that will be easier for India to manage. Otherwise, it will be difficult for India to deal with in relations with the US. So as per the trend, they must take place in next year, in the early next year. But the current Conservative Party is saying that they may go for elections at the end of this year. Their term is at early next year, sir. Yeah. I couldn't recall exact month. Sir, currently conservatives are facing headwinds. Even just 1 week back, there 2 bypolls took place in which 2 of the seats they lost, and both of seats were captured by Labour Party. And there was it's also a kind of anti-incumbency because conservatives were in the rule for the past 13 years, and the Labour was very much picking up. But when it comes to the even that is also too much. It is often said in context of UK politics is that Labour has good image, but it is difficult for them to win elections. Conservatives, though in spite of headbanks, they have shown many times that they can still pull up elections. But currently, the wind is more towards Labour Party, sir. Sir, as far as developed countries' foreign policy is concerned, sir, there won't be a big difference between Conservative and Labour Party, but there are some disagreement over immigration as well as in terms of major immigration, sir. But when it comes to even free trade agreements with the UK, both Labour as well as Conservative, both are favourable towards India. So I don't find much difference.
Okay, Kashinath, by 2050, okay, the percentage of old age people in this country is going to be 19.5%, which is quite a high percentage compared to the current. Yes, you read about that?
Pardon me, could you repeat that?
By 2050.
2050, yes.
Yes.
What will be the percentage of elderly? She's asking.
Sorry, sir, I cannot recall exact figures.
Can you guess?
Maybe around 30%.
It will be 19.5%. Okay. Now, you tell me, what kind of policies, which areas should we focus on so that this population, is not a liability for the country, but, is its strength?
And in context of growing elderly population, definitely a geriatric old age policy.
You are only saying demographic dividend. वो तो dividend भी नहीं अभी we have taken, right? We yet to take the dividend. But then by 2050, our number of elderly would have increased quite a bit because of various reasons. Like such as, you tell me.
Reasons for policies, ma'am?
No, generally, why will this percentage of population increase? When today it's so low or it's not as high, why should it be so high? 19%, almost 1/5 of the population will be elderly, yeah?
Yes.
So think about as to what are the areas that you would focus on, you would suggest that let's focus on this so that we are able to manage this percentage figure. Think and then tell, okay?
Madam, in context of increasing elderly people, then definitely social security has to play major role because after 60 they must be able to sustain themselves. So right now amount of pensions elderly people are getting in terms of access to housing, even healthcare, it is not adequate. So even with such a low elderly population right now, if it is going to increase in the coming years, then definitely this thing has to be tackled. So
They're saying put more money in their pockets. Pension.
yes, madam. This can be thought, but many other innovative. For example, in terms of market instrument also. For example, EPFOs, linking to EPFO, or even many pension schemes launched by current government also, Atal Pension Yojana, as well as Sham Yogi Mandan. So the whole which focus in terms of providing pension in the long run. So that is one area we can focus. And definitely apart from it, even healthcare and access to housing. So that is one.
So how would you, what would be the concrete positive steps you can think of in terms of, healthcare, in terms of, okay, I get your point about pensions, but then it's a big burden on the exchequer also, despite, having pension schemes and people having invested in pension. All right. But how would health and other measures that you're saying, how would you, actually concretize your, now you've zeroed in on areas, no? You said healthcare and housing also.
Yes, madam.
Huh? So what will you do in terms of healthcare? Let's focus on one.
Madam, healthcare we can divide into two things. One is physical health, one is mental health. Even mental health is going to be a major issue because of increasing loneliness, etc. So for physical healthcare, we can leverage the recent scheme, present Ayushman Bharat scheme, which provides for insurance for secondary and tertiary care sector. So more and more people who has the chance of crossing that age limit, they can be enrolled so that they don't have any issues in accessing healthcare. So that is one thing. And when it comes to mental health, so definitely more access to mental health care facilities as well as old age homes where they can overcome this loneliness, their anxiety, etc. So that is one area we can focus upon. And apart from it, madam, like we can also focus on promoting, making these some initiatives launched by government like Fit India movement, which can provide for good health in the long run by focusing on your by doing outdoor activities. So that is one area.
So in a preventive, that would act as a preventive, you are saying.
Yes, madam. It is a kind of preventive only. At least we can keep something in control. So these are three aspects I could recollect, right?
Okay, and housing?
So one is the collective like old age homes. So where
Everybody wants to go to an old age home as it is, conceived by everybody, by people commonly perceived.
Definitely old age home cannot be the first solution. So ultimately more awareness to be
retrofit buildings in any way. Retrofitting, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
even that has to be done, madam. Retrofitting building with access to people with old age. So that is one area we have to focus on.
some little concrete things in retrofitting only. You can think of something quickly.
So
Just imagine your own grandfather and, what would you do for him? Or your parents, just think about them.
one thing already launched by me. One thing was already launched by government, Accessible India campaign.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yes.
And you can take this question back home and also think about it and write down and Google, okay? Thank you.
Kashinath, very good evening.
Good evening, sir.
So you're from Telangana, right?
Yes, sir.
So with respect to the schemes which led to the winning of elections, what impact does it have on electoral democratic process?
Sir, considering the socio-economic profile of people in India, definitely welfare policies or schemes.
This is based on your Telangana state.
Yes, sir. So welfare policies or schemes does have considerable impact all over India, even in Telangana also. For example, in recent elections, most of the schemes emulated by the Congress government were almost as similar to the one provided by the earlier BRS government. Even they have enhanced the even they have enhanced some of the benefits in terms of pensions, in terms of farmer investment support, and free bus ride to women, etc. So, generally, poor people, when it comes to elections, their consultation is more about which government is providing more to them, so that their amount of income they have to spend from their own pocket, it gets minimized. So it does have considerable impact.
So, does it balance with the long-term goals of the state or the nation?
Sir, these freebies, we can call them or welfare schemes, it does have a lot of financial burden on the state. For example, in context of Telangana itself, the current government is unable to borrow loans in the external market as well as from RBI, because the state is almost closely breached its 3.5% GSDP limit. And not only that, the amount of borrowings that the state debt, it has considerably increased in the past 9 years. I couldn't recall the exact figure, sir. So in spite of that older debt, if the governments are continuously going for increasing more and more welfare provisions, then it cannot be a long-term sustainable solution financially.
Okay. So, with respect to the Telangana state again, after bifurcation in the last 10 years, how far do you think it has achieved the interests of the people of Telangana? Can you name some 4 or 5 parameters?
Sir, if you look at the Telangana movement, for which we fought for separate statehood, it was majorly fought on 3 demands. One is funds, one is for water, and one is for employment. When it comes to funds, then because of Hyderabad, which is a revenue surplus region, and Telangana government was able to expand many welfare provisions in terms of Raitu Bandhu, pension for older people, and free electricity to farmers, etc. So because of which the poverty, or we can say the comfort levels of people, so income has increased considerably. And when it comes to water, so by investing in terms of large lift irrigation projects, for example, Kaleshwaram lift irrigation projects, and building many canals, the government was able to provide water 24/7 to the farmers, and because of which Telangana has become a major rice producing state in the country. So definitely that is one of the good achievement also. When it comes to employment, after post bifurcation, state was able to attract majority of the investment in private sector. So we were able to provide jobs in private sector also. But when it comes to government sector, there is only a little bit complaint that the government sector employment was not up to the mark, and that can be acceptable considering the declining role of government in economic situation.
So, with respect to you saying that Telangana has become a major rice producer, paddy producer,
Yes.
correct? So, how far do you think when the government, central government and the experts are talking about crop diversification, so do you think the government, the previous government had made any misguidance by making people grow resource intensive rice cultivation?
Sir, not only encouraging rice, but the Telangana government also proposed for crop colonies, where they can go for crop diversification. But when it comes to if you think from farmer's perspective, if there is surplus water, 24/7 electricity, and there is a robust procurement policy for rice, then farmers will be tempted to grow more and more rice because it is favorable, it is more remunerative for them. So as far as government vision is concerned, it is also promoting crop diversification. But the procurement scenario in India from FCI, that is not favorable to cultivate any other crops.
So, what suggestion do you see for procurement process?
Sir, one recent agreement by acceptance by center that they are going to procure pulses, maize as well as cotton. That is a very good step. Even Telangana is one of the leading producer of pulses, cotton and maize also. So that can definitely help Telangana. So that can be a good step if implemented.
So one last question. So you are interested in international relations and international developments. So how about national security? Can I ask one or two related to that?
Sir, any other context? For any, yes, sir.
So with respect to the changing dimension of the national security, can you identify 2-3 new challenges that has got added in the recent periods to the national security?
One is regard to attacks on Indian commercial ships. For example, evenly from the recently along the Yemen coast by Houthi rebels. So I think many Indian ships were also attacked. So that can be one of the security threat India is facing. So piracy or barriers to external trade, I would call it. And one more thing is in context of insurgency in the northeast. So that is the reason why the Indian government has ended free movement regime in context of the ongoing insurgency and internal violence in Manipur and along the border areas. So these two I could recall, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thanks.
All the best, Kashi.
All the best. Thanks.